Cooperating is a golden rule you don't break. You break that rule, you die. I broke that rule. If I'm ever killed, don't get mad at the guy who came down. He's following orders, doing what he's supposed to do.
Do you ever miss that friendship you had with John?
I wouldn't want to see anybody die like he did, in prison, like a dog with cancer. But I wish we were out, and I would shoot him in his fucking head tomorrow, because he betrayed me like that. I was with him 11 months in prison before I flipped, and he said, Sammy, I'm gonna make the lawyers make you look like a monster. You hear John Gotti complaining about Sammy. He's killing union guys, he's killing partners in business. He's doing all that. It's not, poor John Gotti lost control of his fucking animal. So I said, John, is that what you really want to do? He said, that's what I have to do. The boss has to be free and you gotta do the time. You want to sacrifice me, and you don't want me to defend myself, to try to fight for my freedom. What will my wife and children think when people are calling me a sadistic animal, a serial killer, or this or that? I'm not a serial killer, I'm a hit guy. No, I'm not gonna sit there like a potted plant and do that. It didn't take a coward's position. It took balls to do what I did.
Do you ever think if I had to do it again, I would do it differently?
I really feel that I am a gangster right this minute sitting here. You want me to talk to kids? I'll talk to them. I'll tell them this. You want to be me? You want to be Sammy the Bull? You're going to kill your best friends, or they're going to kill you. You're going to do 22 years in prison like I did. You're going to get shot twice like I was. You're going to get stabbed once like I was. You're going to go to prison. You're going to fight your whole life. Go ahead, sucker. Be me.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go? This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Sammy the Bull Gravano, the former American mobster who served as underboss of the notorious Gambino crime family. You became a made man in New York City in 1976 and quickly rose up the ranks, earning tens of millions of dollars a year, as well as a reputation of one of the most feared enforcers in Mafia history, later serving as the right-hand man to New York kingpin John Gotti. You have openly confessed to 19 murders or hits during your time in Cosa Nostra, and in 1991 became the highest-ranking Mafia member to break the blood oath and become a government witness. Your testimony saw John Gotti sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, and you received a 5-year sentence. In 2001, you were sentenced to a further 20 years for your role in a drug trafficking ring in Arizona and spent the next 16 years behind bars. Since then, your life has taken a completely different direction, with you building an online media empire complete with a podcast, YouTube channel, and successful website. Your videos and interviews have been seen by millions of people around the world as you reinvent yourself as the Don of social media. Sammy, welcome to London Real.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Let me correct one or two things you said. I got a 20-year sentence on that second bit. I did almost 18 years, 17 years, 7 months, not 16, but that's fine. We want to just keep the record straight. And everything else you said is true. I'm involved in 3 Mafia wars. I'm involved with 19 murders. I didn't commit 19 murders, but I'm involved. And so everything else you said is perfect, and I'm ready to go. I have a lot of followers when I'm watching. I got over 520,000 subscribers, and I have 84 million views. And a lot of them are people from England who text me and send me messages all the time. I have a girl out there, young girl, very smart, very good looking, talented girl. Got great conversations with her. She tells me what's going on in the country a lot of times. Her name is Demi Vitale. So I'd like to give her a shout out. She's a great kid. She's, when I talk with many, many people from England. And
all right, well, let's jump into it. So Sammy, last year in 2021, I was running to be the next mayor of London. And I spent 7 months on a campaign trail trying to get this city back on track after we had been locked down in 2020. And I used to work really hard during the day. We had a battle bus. I used to drive it around the city. The police actually were trying to stop me from campaigning because they said I was breaking rules. So I probably felt like you felt at one point. And at night, I used to go home and I used to watch your podcast, Sammy. And I remember coming in and telling the whole team here, we had a whole campaign crew, and I'm like, you gotta watch Sammy's YouTube channel because it's fascinating what I'm watching here. Now, I had watched your original interview with Patrick Bet-David, which I think has been watched now 17 million times. That was my first real exposure to you. I think I'd seen the Diane Sawyer interview back in the day. But, I think that was your first time maybe on camera with David, with Patrick, and I felt like you were on guard. But on your YouTube channel, I got introduced to this very nuanced character named Sammy the Bull, and especially your podcast. And, hats off to your producer, James Carroll, because that first season had me gripped. And I got to see a lot of things about you that I didn't understand, about why you did things, how you felt about things. And I guess I wanted to start by asking you, do you ever find it stranger than fiction what you're doing? I mean, here you are in Arizona on a YouTube channel talking openly about the details of the hits and the crimes. Back when you got made in '76, if someone had told you 50 years from now you would be doing this live broadcast and things like that, would you ever believe it? And how does it feel sometimes to be doing what you're doing now?
Well, I was never a public. I was very private. When you went in and I took the oath, it's a secret society and a brotherhood. So I kept that very secret, very private. I never talked publicly. So if you would have told me, or I would have told myself, you're going to be talking publicly, if you would have told me that 5, 6 years ago, I would say you're crazy. Not me. It's not what I do. But I got into it when I came out. We were going to write a book, my wife's book, ex-wife's book. It's the story of a woman's story of what it was like to be married to someone like me. And we couldn't get it sold. And then somebody approached her to do a podcast, and she asked my help. And I said, sure, I'd help. And that's how I started doing this stuff. My son actually put me on Facebook and then YouTube. When I went in, now I'm out of prison 5 years. So 23 years ago, these phones weren't here. YouTube wasn't here. So I had no idea what this was about, what it was. And I don't have too much knowledge even now. I mean, I'm not a tech guy. And I started talking about, my crimes and stuff like that. And I wanted to be very truthful, very open, very honest. And I think it clicked with the public. They were listening to a lot of different shows that don't have that authenticity. And I think we clicked with a lot of people. I started getting used to it. I started getting, text messages and stuff. And I started answering, just like I said, with that woman from England. Formed a relationship, a friendship with her. She was very smart. I have people in different countries, Israel, different island, Australia, different places. And it was very interesting to me. And as a Mafia dude, I was a problem solver, as that's what happens when you go up in rank. Everybody who has a problem comes to you. And I found it very easy to deal, answering to some of these people's questions and giving advice. So this is how it all started. And I got comfortable doing that. Um, and it blew up. Patrick McDavid, when I first came out, I didn't have any numbers, so I couldn't really talk to anybody. You're Sammy the Bull. Yeah, who cares? What's your numbers? So everything in Hollywood, it's about numbers. So when I started doing this, I didn't have numbers. So Patrick called me a few times. I didn't want to go. He says it himself. And then I said, "Oh, I'm going to do an interview with this guy. He seems honorable. He seems, like a good guy." And I did it with him. And right now he's done interviews with tons and tons of people. And we're his number one show. Like you said, that's 17 million views. And right now I got 520,000 subscribers and 84 million views. So we resonated with people in all different ways in life. I'm not only a gangster, I'm a racketeer, I'm both. I understand business and unions and stuff like that. I'm into politics. You're running for mayor. I heard a little bit about it, not much, but it's hard for somebody who's honest and sincere to come out and try and do the right thing. You're fighting an uphill battle against, whoever they are, whoever they may be, liberal elites or whatever it is. They have the control and the power. They use that machine against you, so it's a tough road. I don't know if you made it. Are you the mayor or you didn't make it?
I'm not the mayor, which is why I get to speak with people like you still. But yeah, I got a real lesson, Sammy, in politics by running.
Oh, yeah.
I really got to see.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, between the parties and the media and everything else behind the scenes, I got a look into it, and it wasn't very nice what I saw. But I'm still glad I did it. I love this city. It's my adopted city, a bit like you adopted maybe Arizona, and I love this place. I love the people. I want to see good things for it. But man, that's a tough racket.
Well, we need people like you who come out, who are not part of that group of people who control it all. And of course, they're going to give you a hard time because they don't want people like you, honest, good people who care about the city and care about the people. That's not what they care about. They care about money, greed, power, control, and you're the enemy to them. So of course they're going to give you a hard time. When I talk like I talk in the United States, they give me a hard time. But we need people like you and coming out in larger numbers. I wish they would come out all over the place because our countries, and I'll say both countries, at one time they were just about one, and we have a lot of thinking that's mutual. I'm dealing with people. I'm doing a documentary with a company from England right now as we speak, and they're good people, and they need good, honest people coming out and caring about the people. I mean, when you make it, get up there and care about people. If you made it, that's good for you, and it's got to be good for the country. Whatever country it is, our country or your country. And I look at it almost, like I would look at Italy because my heritage is in Italy. So I care about different countries in Europe. I got a lot of followers from Australia and Ireland and all over the place. So they're beautiful people, good people, all over the place. And everybody seems to have problems. Some of them the same. This new world order bullshit. I don't know what that is. But what do we go back to kings and queens and they run the country and that's it? Or do we go back to people like you and go forward? He's an independent party. He's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's a person who cares about the country. Hopefully we'll get to that point. People will wake up and we'll get to that.
Yeah, I hope so. It means we just got to keep having these conversations. And I want to get to freedom of speech later because I think we both have had issues where we're been shut down on some of these technology platforms, which are now bigger than the government's. But we will get to that. I want to talk about the media you've created, Sammy, because I think I remember hearing a story when you decided to create, it's called Our Thing, which is your podcast. It's got, I think, 5 seasons right now, I think. But I remember, I thought I heard you saying that you got approached, that someone wanted to do it or do it this way or help you do it. And at one point you said, no. I'm going to do our thing our way. And you had a very distinctive style of doing it with some music, with sometimes some video and graphics, and then you in this studio you're at talking very, very frankly to camera. That was intentional by you to present your story that way, right?
Yes. When they originally told me about podcasts, they put this big microphone in front of me, earphones on my head, and I would talk. And I said, I don't like it. And they said, what do you mean? I said, I'd like to take this off, put a different kind of mic, get these ear things off of me, and I'd like some B-roll in it. I'd like some music in it. And they said, they don't do that. They just sit down at a table with a microphone in front of them. So I said, I really don't care what they do. I'm just telling you what I want to do. And they said, okay, we'll try it, Sammy. We tried it. They loved it. Now, when people follow you, it's the best form of flattery. So obviously it went over big. People started using music and B-roll and different things. And I have it now. I'm doing other things I'm working on to go and take it to a whole nother level that is not out yet. It went over good. I'm in contracts with a lot of different things. In a way, the contracts are great. We're making a movie, a scripted show, documentary, a bunch of things. But in a way, it's inhibiting me a little bit because those contracts, I can't keep talking about certain issues because I'm in contract and I can't screw that up. But and now I'm opening more or less. I'm actually thinking about in January, we're going to reboot our whole system, our whole plan, our whole platform. We're going to redesign it, make it a little more artistic. I did artwork in prison. I did a lot of art. And, sometimes they're a little confused. Here he is a gangster. He's telling us how to do creative shit. But I've done that. I want to upgrade it, make it more creative, make it more entertaining for people who are watching it, especially in this day and age. We were locked down, all these things. So, and I want to keep it very truthful and honest. So I think that's an important factor too. So I think if you go along that line, your success will follow. And I don't follow people. I'm a leader all my life. And I may make mistakes, but so be it. A lot of times I'll do something and they'll say, okay, we'll edit this. And I don't even bother. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
I make mistakes, so leave it alone. I mean, so people know it's not totally edited. Of course you edit some of it, but, I just want to be real with it. If you like me, you like me. You don't like me, you hate me, you love me, whatever, I can't control people's thoughts and feelings. I just could be me. And however they think, so that's the way I try to run what I'm doing. I get, and it's working. Look at this interview right now. I'm sitting with a guy like you. I mean, it's, years ago, it's a dream come true. Here I am, a gangster, heavyweight gangster, and I'm talking to someone like you. There's a reason. There's a reason that I'm trying to do the right thing. I guess you see it. I heard your entry into this. And that's my flow, is what's happening. I did some major interviews just recently, and I've got a bunch of people calling me. They want to do, talks and interviews like you. So this to me is a highlight, to sit with someone like you from a beautiful country.
Yeah,
so I think I'm doing the right thing.
And I'm here because I saw something that was real. That's what I saw, Sammy, when I tuned into your channel. And I could see that everything you did was intentional. And then ultimately I got it straight from you. So I didn't have some Hollywood director involved, some screenwriter, some actor, some blah, blah, blah. I got it straight from you. And,
right.
I started YouTube 11 years ago, Sammy, and at the time, I just had some webcams. I was in my kitchen, but I knew I wanted to do it my way, and it was going to be real. That's why we called it London Real. And so at the end of the day, that's what people get, and that's probably the best thing, because then they can like you or hate you. And I remember saying at the time, Sammy, and I say this now, and I'll say this to you, is that we don't know what YouTube is yet. When you first saw it, you're like, oh, it's TV on the internet, but it's not. Because you're making friendships with people all over the world. You're communicating, you're expressing yourself artistically and emotionally. You're having a heightened human experience the last couple of years doing what you're doing. Maybe some of the best years of your life, what you're doing now. Maybe the most emotionally fulfilling years of your life right now. And it's real. And you might say, well, it's a computer screen, but it sure feels real, what you're doing. And Sammy, I was listening to you tell your stories, and maybe it's the story of you becoming a made man, or maybe it's your story with Johnny Keys, or maybe it's another story. And Sammy, I'm not in the Mafia. I spent a little time in New York City. I've been to Spark Steakhouse. I've been to Little Italy, maybe after you were there. But I knew what you were telling me was real. Isn't that fascinating? As a human, something in my DNA told me this guy's telling me the real truth, and I could feel it. And I felt connected to you. Does that sound crazy? Because that's the way I feel when I listen to you.
No, that sounds real. I mean, and that's the way I like to keep it. And that's why I'm doing this interview. It's vice versa. I feel that, and I've heard everything. I don't know you personally, but everything I heard about you is the same thing. You're real. And that's what I look for. I don't look for somebody who's going to talk nonsense or talk bullshit, So, and I think the people feel that, they see it. If we don't like each other right now, they'll feel it, they'll see it. If we're honest and open and sincere, they'll feel it, they'll want to see it, they'll like it, they'll enjoy it, and we're connecting with other people. I don't know how many people will watch this, probably a lot, and I think they'll enjoy it. They'll get to understand you and me and this whole relationship, and I hope we're going to get along. We're not going to get married, so if you guys think we're going to fall in love, we're not going to fall in love. We're not going to get married. But this is great stuff. This is, I agree. This is an extension of things and a way to put yourself out there and see, do the right thing and see what happens. And the people judge. This is better than a vote. People could judge. They could change the channel, not watch it, get bored. And this is a beautiful technology if it's used properly. Sometimes they want to shut you down because you can't say certain things. That's a crime in itself, because this is could be a beautiful thing where people could relate to, see things, understand things. Maybe I'll say things about America that they don't understand, or how I feel in the country. Not some politician telling us telling you what's going on. It's me, a little old gangster, telling you what's going on in the country and what's going on and how I feel and how other people feel. Because when I'm talking, I have tons and tons of people who listen to me. So you're listening to them too. I'm relating their message as well. It's not just me talking. I hear tons of people, and I change my mind every once in a while. I am an overthinker. An overthinker, once he makes up his mind, you can't change his mind. That's me. But I do change my mind occasionally when I hear so many different people. It brings me back to think of my mother and father were legitimate, hardworking people. So I'm hearing them. I'm hearing their cry. I'm hearing their story. And it helps me change my mind on occasion. Very rare, but I do. And so when I talk, I try to relate them and me and my parents, the good side of me and the bad side. I don't duck the bad side. I'm not going to win Father of the Year awards or nothing like that. But I'm going to be known for this as well as the bad stuff.
Yeah. I'm a bit of an overthinker as well, Sammy. So I know what that feels like. Tell me about what the experience has been like doing the podcast, because I see so many versions of Sammy. There's Sammy that can joke. There's Sammy that sometimes it feels like it's a cathartic experience for you. Sometimes it's maybe therapy. I know it's been for me, this show, for me personally, so I could express things and try to hash things out. And sometimes I can tell that it's very hard for you to tell some of these painful stories again and again. And, I've heard you say that kind of when you were at the time, where you commit some of these crimes, you didn't think about it. It was like an automatic machine. But now later, sometimes when you tell these stories, it sometimes feels like you're cutting an open wound or opening a wound again. Maybe you could just talk about the range of emotions you feel when you're talking about your past.
Well, I've always felt the pain of some of those decisions. Of course, I was a hit guy. I was very loyal to Cosa Nostra, and I followed orders. A lot of those cases, I fought to make that guy live, even though he broke certain rules. Our rules are you break these rules, you die. And they know that. And I tried to save some of them. Some of them I did, some of them I couldn't. And when I couldn't, I'm a hit guy. I will come looking for you and I will kill you. That's my job in Cosa Nostra. Like a soldier in a war. He's not happy about killing the other side, but he lives and fights for his country and he does what he's told, whether he likes it or not. But they were painful for me, a lot of these things, especially people who died who were good friends of mine. And in a way, it's a therapy to me to talk about it, but it's still extremely painful. It's just as painful as it was back then, it is now. And maybe because I got a little older, I get choked up a little easier. I never choked up and cried as a kid, but didn't mean that I didn't care. I did. And on occasion, I did shed a tear or two. But opening up and talking about some of them now, I don't want to hide them. I want to talk about them. But they're painful when I do. And sometimes I really can't even get the words out. I choke up because I could see the person again. I could see the crime again clearly. For some reason, those things I've never forgotten anything. It could have been the weather was cold. It could have he wore a blue shirt and a green tie or whatever it may be. Those things don't escape me. When I talk, those details come back because I see it again. I'm reliving it again, as strange as this may sound to people. And it's painful for me. A lot of them, I open up these stories and I want them to know their loved one who passed in these situations or was killed or whatever word you want to use, why, and how they should feel about their father or their grandfather, whoever they're looking at or listening to, and understand what happened. I tell my children, I broke a golden rule in Cosa Nostra. Cooperating is a golden rule you don't break. You break that rule, you die. I broke that rule. I tell my children, friends, and family around me, if I'm ever killed, don't get mad at the guy who came down. He's following orders, doing what he's supposed to do. And I live by the gun, and if I die by the gun, that was my choice. Accept it. And don't be mad at the person who came down. He's under orders to do what he had to do. It's part of the life. Understand it. It was a punishment that I maybe should get or should have gotten, but I didn't. A lot of people understand when I cooperated. That's a whole story in itself with John Gotti. And a lot of people know the story now. There has been state police or FBI and guys who flipped, cooperated after me. And all of those secrets came out, what he did to cause me to flip. All my life I've been in trouble and never flipped. And they understood it. So I don't have that hatred anymore. When you first cooperate, everybody probably hated me. But they don't have that no more. That seemed to go away, not just because of time, but they understood. The real tough guys understand exactly what it was. Now, I'll give you a little example to that. When I was on top in a high position. I was the underboss. And somebody would flip that you would never expect. Real tough guy. I never just said, he's a rat. No, the first thing out of my mouth was, what made a guy like him cooperate? He's not a rat, never was, never will be. What happened? So I want to hear their story. I want to hear exactly why. This is another reason I think my podcast blew up. But telling the truth on what happened and then being verified by so many different people is an important thing to understand. Now, there are guys who cooperate for almost literally no reason, for some sort of gain or something. I don't accept that. You know, we're brothers, we're on the same side. They're the enemy. We fight our case. But if I betray you and I'm helping them put you away, and you say, no, I'm not, that's crazy, I'm not doing that, and you flip, you walk the other way, you're not a rat. You're in the situation that, why should I go to prison for the rest of my life? I can understand the cops, that's their job. But now Sammy's putting me away. He's backing it. He's making it 10 times worse because he wants to go free. So when people understand those stories, and that's what I went through.
That's what happened with John Gotti, right? That's exactly what happened. Right.
It's exactly what happened. So when I got to that point, and he had told me right to my face, I was with him 11 months in prison before I flipped, and he said, Sammy, I'm going to make the lawyers make you look like a monster. My tapes where I'm talking behind your back, you're going to hear I'm talking negative. So they're going to tell the jurors, you hear John Gotti complaining about Sammy. He's killing union guys. He's killing partners in business. He's doing all that. It's not poor John Gotti lost control of this fucking animal. So I said, John, is that what you really want to do? He said, that's what I have to do. The boss has to be free and you got to do the time. Even though those lies about I'm killing union people and my partners, I never did that. But
does the boss have to be free, Sammy? Did that ever have any weight to you when he said that?
No.
No.
No. And here's what I'll do. I'll go back in time, prehistoric time. Somebody come out, big, tall, good-looking guy, really well built, and he becomes the leader of his clan. And he protects the people. They cater to him. If he wants sex, the women give him sex. If he wants coffee, the men go hustle and make it. All of these things happen. He's the leader. He's the king. But they're walking in the woods, him and his whole clan, and they see a saber-tooth tiger. And he tells two of his guys on his side, go kill that thing. They go to him. The tiger wins, they're dead. He goes to the other guy on the other side, go kill that tiger. He runs out there. The tiger kills him. He starts to back up. We have to stick together. No, that's not the way it goes. You're the boss. You're the protector. You put the men on this side and the woman behind you, and you come and kill the fucking tiger. That's what a leader does. Not sacrifice the people. See, it's real easy to sit on your ass and tell all the people to go do it, and you sit back. So no, the boss don't have to go. You're the boss. You got to stand up. You don't throw meat, you sacrifice meat for you to go free. So I try to make that comparison to people so they would understand it a little bit better, but no. And it was you on tape. You did it all. We're all arrested in kind of your mouth. I'm not on that tape. I'm not on any of the tapes. So you want to sacrifice me. And you don't want me to defend myself to try to fight for my freedom. What will my wife and children think when people are calling me a sadistic animal, a serial killer, or this or that? I'm not a serial killer, I'm a hit guy. And Daddy didn't even try to defend himself. So maybe that's exactly what he is. No. I'm not going to sit there like a potted plant and do that. So the thing is, it's not easy to walk away in the Mafia in the situation I was in. It exploded all around the world, and more than likely I would be killed. I knew that. It didn't take a coward's position. It took balls to do what I did. It's taken balls I never hid. I'm out here talking still. So, and part of the talking is that so people really understand the life. And maybe some people, a lot of times they say, talk to kids. No, I'm not going to talk to kids. I'll talk to kids. You want me to talk to kids? I'll talk to them. I'll tell them this. You want to be me? You want to be Sammy the Bull? You're going to kill your best friends, or they're going to kill you. You're going to do 22 years in prison like I did. You're going to be involved in 2 or 3 Mafia wars like I was. You're going to get shot twice like I was. You're going to get stabbed once like I was. You're going to go to prison. You're going to fight your whole life. Go ahead, sucker. Be me. Go out there. Now that, if you see that and understand that, and you're a teenager or you're in your 20s, that's real life to you. Be me. Go ahead. Go kill people. Go do whatever you want to do. But that's your future. You may have some good times for a while, but it won't last. Go enjoy it. I saw a black guy do a thing. He was in prison, behind bars. And he said the same thing. He says, tough guy. Go out and rob a bodega. Do whatever you want. Sell drugs. I'll see you over here. And he was in a prison cell. I'm going to see you over here. And you'll probably do a good portion, if not your whole life, in here. They're going to tell you when to get up, when to go to sleep, when to eat, when to shit, when to talk, when to go to bed. Enjoy it. I'll see you over here. That's an example for kids that I give. Not some, oh, don't do this. No, I'm not going to all that whining bullshit. The real deal. You want kids to see it? You kids, if there's kids here watching this and your teens, that's my advice to you. Do whatever you want. Live your life. It's your life. Don't let anybody tell you how to live it. But I'm telling you what will happen. You want to be me? Go do it.
If you could do it all over again, Sammy, and make a choice at 12 to not go with the Rampers and to go another way, I mean, you could have gone and been Donald Trump. That could have been you, including the politics probably. Do you ever think if I had to do it again, I would have do it differently? Or would you ultimately have done it the same because of your love or respect of Cosa Nostra?
I think I would have did it similar. I was dyslexic. I had really a lot of trouble in school. I never got out of the 8th grade. That's why I joined the gang. It was comfortable for me. I would have made some changes in my life as I was going along. I mean, everybody does that. It's Monday, you watch football, Monday quarterback, everybody talks what should happen because they already saw it. So I would do the same thing. I'd be Monday quarterback. There's some changes that I would make. And but I loved and respected the life. It's part of my heritage. It came from Sicily. I'm Sicilian. My mother and father was Sicilian. So it's part of my heritage. But some of the mistakes, some of the things I did, I would have loved to try to change. I would have did it a little differently. But I really feel that I am a gangster right this minute sitting here. And the only thing is, I have 2 sides of me. I have a split personality. One side of me is a fucking lion. One side of me is a lamb, good person. My lion, I calm him down all the time. Take it easy. Take it easy. And I use the side of trying to be a decent human being and being a lamb. But I have those 2 personalities. If you went to hurt my kids or my family, I will not even try to control that lying. That's in me. I can't help that. I don't know if it's born to me. I don't know how it's there, but it's there. I'm not going to try to. I didn't find God. I didn't find all these things. You know, people come out. I found Jesus. Everybody would say they're in prison. They want to get an early release. I found Jesus, and now I want to be let out early. And people ask me, "Did you find him in prison?" I didn't know. I never saw him in prison. I never bumped into him, and I think I believe in God. I thought Jesus was a beautiful person, but those aren't things that changed my life. Things I've done changed my life as a man. Think more of before God. I think of my father and my mother. My mother was a seamstress. My father was a painter. Then they joined forces and opened up a dress factory. Hard working, 10, 12 hours a day. We would eat dinner. They'd go back to the factory, clean up, or get ready for the next day. So I inherited that, and I kept that in me. That's my lamb side. And I respect that and love that side. So I try to be a decent human being with everything I do. I'm not a bully. I don't use my name or reputation as a bully in any way. It's hard to do when you're fucking 3 feet tall. I'm a little more than 3 feet tall, but
you're pretty effective, Sammy.
Yeah, so I try my best to live my life and do the right thing, and be honest and sincere and open. And, I think that's what I do with myself. So there's changes I would make to answer your question, but I am what I am, and it'll be on my tombstone, and the bad part and the good part. Yeah. So what people are seeing now, I think, is the good part or the better part, and I tend to keep that, going. I've done enough time in prison. I will never do an illegitimate thing. I'll never do a murder because nobody's ordering me to do a murder. I'll never do one. I never woke up any morning of my life wanting to kill or hurt someone. That was always Cosa Nostra. It was always in our family. According to our rules, like I said, with a soldier, he comes home from war. He's not coming home to kill our fellow citizens or anybody like that. He's done that in the military. So it's not that I can't. I would lie if I said I can't. I could, but I don't want to, and I never will. And so I live by that code. So, and I would have had more of that in the Mafia, but I didn't have control over that, just like soldiers don't have control of who they're going to shoot.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.